times lie ahead.
So people keep asking me, what is it like?
Smile in your head. Come on in, the door's open. You'll find just the finest folks here. Pull up a chair, grab a drink, and lend our stories your ear. Cause we're the talk of the tavern. Here you're always welcome. The talk of the tavern. Promising beer and bedlam. The talk of the tavern. Music, medicine, then some. The talk of the tavern. The song's over. Here we come.
Oh my God.
And welcome to Monday, July 15th episode of Talk of the Tavern, where we're going to be talking about tooting your own horn in whatever innuendo Kevin chooses.
In whose endo?
Anybody's endo,
In your
apparently. Quite possible. So, I am the host. I'm Travis. And tonight my vices are some Coke Zero and some Henry McKenna bourbon with a cube of ice. I just want to make sure it was okay before I toasted with it in a few minutes. Let's just introduce people going in a circle around me. Directly above me in the upper left corner we have Ed.
What up?
Ed, your blurring background is totally blurring you. You might want to knock that off. Then again, no, it could be me. Could be me, I don't know.
Yeah, my black background shouldn't be blurry.
Good enough. Keep rolling. You don't have the blur background turned on in Skype?
Nope.
Interesting.
I'm
So
drinking
strong
shit.
Ed screen presence is.
I'm drinking Miyomi Pinot Noir.
Nice. Hello, Victoria. Gentlemen, I think she probably wants to hear the sound of your voices.
Hello, Victoria.
Hi, Victoria.
And congratulations, by the way, on making the A-list.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. So what were you drinking? A Pinot Noir?
Yeah.
Very good. Are you vaping tonight?
I am, but I don't know what the hell is in here.
Very good. Very good. Moving to the very center of the screen, because he is the center of our universe, we have Kevin.
Good evening, everyone. This evening I am drinking coffee, and that's about it as far as my vices go, and my ever-present bottle of water. And I will be smoking nothing.
Ever
Angry
again.
Kev. Yeah. Angry Kev. Not happy.
At least you can drink coffee now.
Yeah, I can drink coffee, and thankfully the one thing they didn't ban me from is beer. So the pub has been contributing slightly heavier this week to my social activities, which is nice.
Good times. It's
Well, I'm allowed to do very mild stuff, but there's a lot of limits on what I can do at the moment. But one thing I can do is wield a paintbrush. So if you guys remember the Casbah when you came to visit, that's the little Moroccan decorated place.
Yeah, I remember rocking the Casbah.
You know, the little garden place that they've got out the back, the sort of smoking area out the back, they've just repainted the walls out there. So I've been helping them with a bit of painting in exchange for free beer.
Nice. By the way, Victoria says recovering from an A-list party still, so drinking water and Gatorade, and John says, yeah, beer! Now, in the upper right, because she is an upper for all of us and she's always right, there's Elizabeth.
Hey, everybody. Tonight I am drinking a little Monster
Yeah, she is.
and water. Yeah. That's it. That's my vices for the evening.
Okay. And last but not least, never the least, he's always the most, we have Chris.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I got nothing. I'm drinking my usual Dr. Pepper.
Now, is he good volume for everybody, or is it just me that he's a bit quiet for?
He's a bit quiet.
All right, fine.
I think you probably just need to move your microphone just a smidge closer.
Well, I did just put it just a smidge
Yeah,
closer.
but then it slid, so it's no longer where it was. You're talking into the... There you go, now try it.
How about now?
Much better.
Oh.
Because what's happening is it's sliding across your chest and you're talking into the back of it instead of towards the actual mic itself.
You're messing away my mouth.
Well, I don't know what to tell you about it. There you go. That's much better. That's always... Those suckling noises always add to the tavern. Let's do an opening toast. Does anybody have anything they want to toast, or shall I just pull something random?
Pull something right.
Random it is. So for today's toast, we're going to quote Andrea with, "Yeah, you do."
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
And also a few changes to the everything here in front of you guys. Just so you guys know, you can now do !! dad joke as a command, and it will give you one of the 201 jokes from the joke book I wrote. It's all one word there, Chris. All one word. There you go. So other than that, I want to remind you guys, if you're going to throw bits tonight, please throw the purple heart bits, the bleeding heart, those, exactly, Ed. Because you get, if you can, I'm so fucking excited. If you throw 10 or more, they give us an extra 10% for free. So that's fucking awesome. And also related to supporting your tavern. Ah, there's Tracy. Tracy did the triangle instead of the heart. She was on earlier. We're talking about it. I also want to let you guys know, if you go to the support the tavern, the monthly bits down below. It's okay, Tracy. We appreciate the bits no matter how many you throw. We love you dearly. But if you click below, on the second thing I think it is below the screen, you will see monthly tips or something like that. There you go, Tracy. Much better. Here's to you. And
Woo! I'll drink to that.
that's
I'm
right.
drinking tonight,
You're
so I'll
drinking
drink
tonight.
to that.
What I'm trying to tell you is there is now a web page where people have asked me what's the best way to support the tavern. You know, is it Stream Elements? Is it Stream Labs? Is it Patreon? It's now PayPal. You click that one link. You have a choice of subscribing via PayPal to support every month, or even buying the tavern a drink a week. Or you could do a one-time. All there, nice and easy. You don't have to open up an account anywhere else, and you can set it up so it does it every week or every month, whatever you like. Elizabeth, I'm sorry, you were trying to say something while I was rambling
Do
on
I
about it.
choose the heart from the... How do I cheer with the heart?
You know when you click on the thing for the bits and you have like the 12
Yeah.
icons you can choose from? Just choose the purple drippy heart.
Oh, okay.
It's
Oh, I
that
see what
easy, so... Yeah. It's but it is a little different from just typing in. And I also want to let you guys, if you guys are here and watching this, you are either a VIP in the tavern, a subscriber, or a moderator. In other words, any way it goes, you're awesome and important to us, because this is your guys' stream. Nobody else can come in. Well, they can come in for a peek. They get a free preview. But other than that, oh my goodness, look at that blast. Ed just put his bits all over our faces. Well, that's the highlight of my week. Anybody else have a highlight this week? Anything good, bad, or incredible happened?
The highlight of my week was noticing that now when I redeem my cock, it's immediately followed by a message from Cogsley that says, "Kevin just chose cock."
He did, and he really felt they needed to share this with everyone. Yeah, that's actually been
We
the
had
best.
a party.
There we go. Here's a cock party.
Sausage fest.
Now, it is Amazon Prime Day before we get into everybody's highlights. And what that means is, first of all, watch today and tomorrow. At some point in time, Twitch, which is owned by Amazon, might put up 1,000 bits for $1. Sorry, the scream. I thought maybe it was Bob.
Well, so far
Can't hear you, Chris.
on the screen, there has popped up simple modern 22-ounce slim cruiser tumblers, and then a Veckin French press coffee maker has popped up in the screen of like, hey, buy this on Prime.
And you can close that if you want, but just by clicking the little arrow, it closes that list out. But yeah, we get a little bit of money, couple pennies for each thing you buy going through our links. But also, in the bits for sale, last year they did, and I think it was on Prime Day, they gave you like a 90% discount on bits. So watch for that. Other than that, don't forget you can subscribe using Amazon Prime, Twitch Prime. It costs you nothing and it supports the channel. And it gets you into all of our private
He disappeared.
things. Who disappeared?
Your voice.
My voice disappeared?
Yeah, it got super hard to hear you.
Oh, I don't know what's up with that.
And now you're back.
Yeah, now you're back.
It could be my internet. Right before we went on air, my internet took a shit, and it got all over me, and I had to go bathe.
Yeah, you start out fine, and as you talk, it gets... weaker
Let's
and weaker.
try doing this. We'll see if that makes any difference there. It may or may not. I also want to point out, as a highlight of my week, we are at the highest amount of subscribers we have had since November of last year. Thanks to Tracy, we are now up to 10, and we have not seen those numbers since November of last year. And there, it was 11. So we are very close to, and I think our maximum ever was 16. So I am very excited about that. I got one. So, okay. Ed, any highlights in your week this week?
I went to the doctor.
Mhm.
I don't have to have my leg cut off.
Oh, sorry.
But I'm down for the count for like 6 to 8 more weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
How's the money gonna? You gonna be okay?
It's a workman's comp claim, so they still have to pay me.
So what are you getting? 60% of your? Wait a minute. If you get 60% of 70 hours per week, you're gonna get your 40 hours.
Well, and seriously though, I brought that up today, and she's like, I'm gonna have to figure that out because
Yeah.
I've been working. I mean, 1 2 week pay period, I worked 155 hours. So,
Jesus Christ.
so yeah. So I might get my 40 hours. Yeah.
I hope so. I hope so. That'd be great. That would be very good.
Better deal than I get. I get what's lovingly known in this country as statutory sick pay. So in other words, if you don't have any other kind of medical compensation from your company, which most British companies don't unless you're in a high ranking position, you get statutory sick pay, which for me is 90 quid a week.
Wow.
That
To put that in perspective, that's £5 a week more than if I was unemployed and claiming benefits, but without all the additional benefits that come with it. Because if you're unemployed, you also get housing benefit, council tax benefit, etc., etc. I don't get any of that. I just get 90 quid a week.
okay? Why don't you just quit and go get unemployment now?
Because then I've got no job to go back to.
Yeah. Well, they can rehire you or not, and you weren't happy there. So even if they don't,
Yeah, I could, is the simple answer, but without getting into a protracted explanation on air that will bore the living shit out of everyone apart from
Appreciate
you four,
that.
I have reasons for not
Good enough.
leaving the company at this precise moment. So
Understandable, yeah. If there's a bigger, better benefit other than, oh, you just enjoy suffering, then absolutely stick with that shit. If you're just suffering, stop being a moron and leave the fucking building.
absolutely, if it was just a question of that, I'd be gone already. I'd have handed my notice in the moment the heart attack hit, but I've got things
Well,
to
I mean,
look
go
forward
to the
and
hospital
like-
first, but then afterwards, hand in the notice. Don't be like, can we take a slight detour?
Yeah. On the way.
I mean,
in
we're
back
already in
of
the helicopter.
We just swing by work.
I need to let them
I need to go
know.
in. I just want to flip them off out of the back of the ambulance.
Amazon apparently had a lot of people quitting. A lot of places. So now they have an app that we sign in on, and we can check our schedule and our pay and all that stuff. They have a thing at the bottom of every page going, do you want to resign? Click here. They later changed it to, not that we want to lose you, you're a very valuable part of Amazon, but if you have decided to leave, click here. Because people, like, they were running to HR in droves going, oh my God, are you trying to get me to quit? Am I getting fired? What's happening here? And I'm like, no, I get what they're trying to do. They just want to be able to rehire your ass during the busy season with the temptation of money and then kick your ass to the curb again.
Yeah.
Which, So Kevin, what's the highlight of your week? I think was beer. You mentioned beer.
Beer is definitely one of them. Yeah, I've always been allowed to drink ever since I came out of hospital, but obviously it's taken a few weeks for the medication I'm on to settle down and the side effects to start to tail off.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've kind of reached that point. I have been supplementing my normal socializing this week with extra time in the pub, which is terrible. Oh, woe is me. Which has been rather nice because it gets me out of the house as well as the benefits of beer. Just being able to go out and have somewhere else I can go and socialise with people, so I'm not sat around staring at the same four walls. It's much easier to make an hour go by in the pub with a pint in your hand than sat at home watching the 6th rerun of something. So that's been good. And the other bit of good news I had this week is I've been cleared for light to medium exercise, as they term it. So all the things that have been winding me up for weeks that I wasn't allowed to do, like help my wife take the home delivery in with the shopping, lifting bags, gardening. I was saying to the guys earlier, my back garden's begun to look a little bit like any moment David Attenborough is going to pop out of it in the middle of a documentary. So, yeah. So I've now been cleared to do stuff like that, which is nice.
My yard is looking very similar, but I have no such excuse. I just have I don't feel like it.
In fairness, my backyard is somewhat smaller than yours.
It is. There is that.
Considerably.
Yeah, it's... Let's see here. We're going to do that. So, what about you, Chris? Anything exciting this week for you?
Several things. One, on Friday, we got to go get training in the theater on how to install the new decking and stage platforms. However, we couldn't get that training because while they were still trying to install it, it doesn't fit. Because the walls were not built as drawn, and the measurements of what they are in reality are... Yeah, it's a whole bunch of complicatedness, plus the old stage where they were supposed to have feet, is really at an angle. Like, the whole front lip of our stage, from all of the weight of platforms and things, was down, so now the standard feet that screw into the bottom of the platform are now 2 inches off the stage deck along the entire edge of the proscenium. It was a big thing. And the building opens goes into building inspection a week from today, and they're pretty sure they're not going to be ready. And we were supposed to start loading in all of the instruments and gear and things on that Monday. However, now that they're behind and they've decided that they don't want us loading in things while the building inspector is walking around, so that puts our loading date in on Tuesday. I go on vacation on Thursday. I get on a plane. There is no way
Kevin,
that I'm
you
not
should have just
leaving.
gone on with your story also then. Let's move to the vacation. Where are you going on vacation? That sounds exciting.
The mountains of North Carolina to a small town called Franklin.
Oh, I know it well.
Okay. Yeah.
There is this. Here's the thing that I say that everyone goes, wait, there's one of those?
It's
There
not a
is
soccer team, is it?
Fasteners convention that
Huh?
happens in Franklin every year. So me and my family are going to the Fasteners Frolic because they're punny like that.
So fasteners like a snap and Velcro and
Gemstones.
oh.
That's vacation. So that was my Friday. My Saturday, boy,
my
was
God.
that adventure. My friend Mikey just turned 41 on Wednesday, and he had moved down to Orlando and now works for Disney doing Pyro, the bastard. Was back in town and was like, hey, we're gonna go to a winery, and all these people are gonna come and see me. We're gonna sit there all day and it'll be great. Sure, I'll totally go do that. Well, we went to 3 wineries and then the Dogfish Brewing Pub. So I started drinking around 11.
AM.
2.5 bottles of wine at the first place after doing a cider tasting flight of like 6 different ciders that they had. We were there until like 3:30 or 3. Then we got all piled into an Uber. That was super fun. And Ubered to another winery, which we spent 2.5 hours there. And I had another bottle and a half that I like. Oh,
I
and
think
then
your
we
mic
went to
has
a
wandered
third
again.
winery. What?
I think your microphone has wandered again.
How's that?
Better.
Yeah. So then the third winery, and more people showed up, and then he was on a whim, was like, "Hey, you know what? I want to go get dinner. Let's go to the brew pub. That's 45 minutes away." And we were like, "Oh man, it's gonna suck to call another Uber." Well, his 2 friends who came out to see him never see him because they've got 2 kids, ages like 1 and like 4, I think they are.
So at least
they were
one
like,
of them
"Well,
is sellable
we'll
age.
move what?
At least one of them is a sellable age.
Sure. They were like, we'll move the car seats, and you guys can pile into the minivan, and we'll all just drive on down to the brewery. So, yeah, apparently one of the seats couldn't be removed, so my friend Jess was sitting in the car seat, which was super fun with her drunk ass, especially when the child locks restrained her and kept her from getting out of the minivan when we arrived. The rest of us were piled in. Fred was like, "All right, who wants snacks? We've got like fudgy cookies and Scooby snacks," and like just started throwing snacks at us, and then like turned on some crazy Lego movie that's like a mix between Indiana Jones and Star Wars, I guess. It was very weird, like off the Lego movie, and then Little Einsteins, which never want to watch that again. It's the most fun I've ever had in a minivan, though.
Well, you're young yet. And don't have kids of your own to run away from.
On Sunday.
It's, okay, let's give Elizabeth some time to talk, because she's always has exciting things to talk about. Any highlights from this week? No, I'm totally serious. You were talking about some stuff before we got on air.
Oh shit! What was it?
Gardening.
I've been doing a lot of time in the yard. I'm walking the yard.
On the chain gang.
And it's causing me to take moments and to just be in these moments. And sometimes they're miserable. It's a lot of weeding. Oh my God. And it's always very, very hot in the sun, which I don't do well in. But I get these moments where I see the baby foxes running around growing. And anytime they see me, you can see them, they look and they're not sure what to do, and then they take off. Or the geese and the ducks are growing, even the deer.
Snacks for them.
I beg your pardon?
You should get some Scooby snacks for them.
It was funny because I went down to check the plants, because if it's been raining, I don't need to water. I can go do the other things waiting for me. And I get to a certain step, and there's a fawn, but actually not a fawn, a young deer, like a teenager, with her big ears standing there looking at me like, oh shit. And right behind her is the mother. And the mother's not even looking. She's nibbling away at whatever. And then behind them is the fawn, also like, oh God, what do I do? I just bid them a good morning and went on my way. And today I saw a dragonfly interweaving through the sprinkler. It's glorious. It's truly glorious. I feel very, in Japan, they always talked about those moments, taking the seizon, the moment in between moments. And that is when life and I guess you'd say, I guess enlightenment occur. So that's pretty much been my week. And then on Saturday, I forced myself to take a couple hours off and sit at my neighborhood pool. Fabulous. And just researching a lot of producers and staying positive and focusing on mind, body, and soul.
So when
That
you
was
went to
my
the
week.
neighborhood pool, did you bring a fishing pole?
No, but maybe next time. No, but I got the lowdown and all the neighborhood gossip.
Oh,
And la, la,
boy.
la.
Which
Yeah.
you can't get in Kevin's local paper anymore, from what I understand.
Oh, yeah. Rather amusingly, down at the boating lake, Travis, there's a little, I don't know if you guys recall it from working past it, but there's a little splash pool for the toddlers at one end of the boating lake. Now, it's changed hands recently, and the people who've taken on the responsibility of it didn't like the age and the safety of some of the equipment was there, so they've ripped it all out and have new equipment on its way to be installed. So in the meantime, all that's left is there used to be a small slide there, and all that's left behind of the slide, because they removed the cracked plastic actual slide bit, is this metal frame that now looks like someone has erected a gallows in the middle of the splash pool for the kids.
That is
So anyone who misbehaves.
That's great. How come you don't have a photo of yourself with your belt in your hand slung over the top?
Just casually looking at it like.
Yeah, exactly.
The answer is because I haven't gone out for a walk since you put the idea into my head. Watch for Instagram tomorrow.
Or what'd be even
That's
better?
funny.
Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Go ahead. No, your turn, your turn.
Just if you can get somebody that. Now I know you can't lift much, so maybe they could jump and snap the picture. But yeah, have something slung over and have you like lifting them towards the noose, if you will. What are you gonna say, Elizabeth?
I was going to say that was one of the things spoken up about at the pool was they're going to extend an area so that's they call it this, I don't know, the slip and play section for the kids where there's water squirting, and I called it the tooth chipper.
Mm.
I said, yeah, that'll be great until someone gets sued. And yeah, good time.
Oh,
Good
Ed,
time.
I didn't
Yo.
get the hat yet, but I did get these, and I'm gonna hold them up. Let me see if everybody can see them here or not. This one here says Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Get off my lawn. I'm your Huckleberry.
That's my favorite.
And Valhalla Admit 1. And on one side it says Die Historic. On the other side it says Live Again. So I have a couple more coming. But this one is the largest. So when I get the hat, I'll stitch the backing of this Velcro onto the hat. Then of course over here I have the... I think it's the asshole achievement patch or whatever the Boy Scout looking patch is for being an asshole. So yeah, it'll be in Predator, like Jesse the Body Ventura wore one, where you could put the sides up and yeah, it'll be one of those kind of hats. It's not quite an Australian Outback hat. It's a little less of a brim. Yes.
You mentioning Valhalla Admit 1. Something amusing I heard this week. Weatherspoons, the large chain pub that's just up the street from me. I was in there the other day to meet a friend for a drink, and it was absolute chaos. For those of you who don't know Weatherspoons, it's essentially Britain's cheap chain pub where food and drink is ridiculously cheaply priced.
It's Bennigan's, TGI Fridays, Applebee's. It's
Okay,
theirs.
right, yeah. I don't know what the comparison would be, yeah. And it was horrendously busy. It was lunchtime, it's summer, the sun's out, there were screaming children everywhere, every table is full, there's huge queues at the bar. And I was just sat at one end of the bar with my friend having a drink, and I heard one of the bar staff walk behind the bar and quietly to his companion say, "I dedicate this service to Odin."
Nice. Okay, I guess we can get it. Anybody got anything else before we move on with the topic du jour?
No.
What is the
so.
French word for week? So instead of topic du jour, we have topic de week.
I can't remember.
I can't either. It's been many, many moon.
I don't know.
Okay.
That would be one of those words where I have to shout it louder in English.
Oh, okay, that works for me too. Now let's do
So our
another
standard
toast.
What is it,
Universal
Journey? Journey?
That's month, isn't it?
It's day.
Jour is day, yeah.
Sure. Excuse me, sure. I never took French.
So let's do another toast because I need to empty the glass to refill it, and it's another toast.
Yeah,
So
you do.
here's the toasting.
Yeah.
It's that.
Mm-hmm.
It's semaine, by the way, or semaine. Le topic du semaine. Topic de la semaine.
Your French accent is horrible. You got such a southern redneck accent from the UK.
Yeah. UK Southern redneck.
Well, yeah, that's your words. I'm just repeating your words.
Oui. C'est vrai.
Say hooray?
So
Okay.
my ex is from Florida, and she is currently in Paris helping with a nonprofit that helps immigrant children. And they laugh at her accent so much because she speaks with a southern, like, Floridian French accent. And, like, no one can, like, determine where her dialect is from because she's from the South here speaking French. That
what
doesn't
part
sound
of-
like Louisiana or like
So
that
she's from
Creole.
northern Florida then?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
She's
'cause
from Tallahassee.
yeah, southern Florida is a totally different accent. In that sense, yeah, Tallahassee is southern Georgia or southern Alabama or whatever. Whereas South Florida, you have such a conglomeration of New York, local, Haitian, Hispanic. Yeah, it's quite the mishmash. I have a South Florida accent, and Ohio, and Mississippi. I've lived in 9 different
Have any-
states.
Have any of you ever seen the British comedy series Hello, Hello?
Yes.
If not.
Listen
Okay,
very
so-
carefully. I shall say this only once.
Right. Without going into protracted explanation, it's set in the Second World War in France, and it follows a local cafe owner, Rene, through all his exploits with a downed British airman, the French resistance, the Germans occupying the town, so on and so forth. One of the characters in that is a British spy masquerading as the local policeman. So he's supposed to be French, but he's actually British, speaking French. And to simulate how poorly English people pronounce French when they try and speak French, he would mispronounce all his words, because obviously they're not speaking French, it's a British sitcom. So to denote that he was speaking poor French that stood out to everybody, phrases like "good morning, I was passing by your door when I heard those bombers flying overhead" would become a "good morning, I was just pissing by your door when I heard the bombers flying overhead."
Have you
And
ever
that
seen
was-
the Peter Sellers Pink Panther movies?
Yes.
Yeah, same
Oh
accent.
yeah, okay. Think that same kind of horrendously put on French accent, but he would mispronounce certain words,
Right.
and that was their way of explaining that although everybody in theory was speaking French, since it's set in France, because he was English, he mispronounced all the words.
Nice, nice. I like it. Okay, so today's
I like that that lead actor because his ability. I've seen him in other shows to do a variety of accents, and he's just fantastic at them. He's really. It sounds natural almost. He's very good.
I am listening to a Star Wars audiobook now by Chuck Wendick. Now, it took me a while to get into it because it's more of an audio drama in that they have sound effects and voice effects and reverb added for different characters, and it was driving me fucking nuts. But once you get into it, I mellow it out and then I can go with the flow. And it's also, the whole book has been rewritten to present tense because it's being done as this is happening right now, like an audio drama, instead of this happened then. But anyhow, the gentleman who reads it, which Chris might well remember the gentleman's name, if these are all him doing these voices, even with software alteration for certain reverb or whatever, fucking incredible. His range is just wow. And I want to go research who did this and see if it is a team of people because, yeah, it's incredible.
Which Star Wars book?
Aftermath. It's a trilogy, and I'm on the first one. It's by Chuck Wendick, who also has a podcast and other such things. Does a lot with the writing community. Really a big supporter of other writers. From everything I've heard, a damn nice guy to boot. So, fuck you, Chuck! And keep up the awesome work, dude. So,
Mark Thompson is the narrator.
I did think for a second, when I first heard that, when they mentioned that, I'm like, how cool would it be if they got Mark Hamill to do the voices? Is he that desperate for money yet? Nope. Nope, not even close.
No, God, no.
But this guy even does like a good Han Solo, and I'm guessing the Wookiee is not him. The Wookiee is pre-recorded sounds that they use from a list. Okay, let's get on to today's topic here. This is something I've considered actually making one of the 27 thoughts about, one of the books about, and that is tooting your own horn. We all know plenty of, matter of fact, last week we discussed quit bullshitting. It's fucking embarrassing. It was like number 11 or something. This is the other side of that. When you're not bullshitting, when you're not just an annoying braggart who needs attention, there's a lot of people, and any of us who have attended conventions, especially science fiction conventions, you'll see a lot of artists, or Twitch, you'll see a lot of artists, writers, who don't like to push themselves on other people. They don't want to brag about how many things they've written or drawn or where they've been published or where their movie is, etc. And it's important to toot your own horn. Now, Elizabeth, you were snickering there. What went on there?
You said push themselves on people. I'm like, well, yeah. No means
I find
no.
it's polite to buy them a drink first, but
That's how I met Elizabeth.
I want that pussy.
Exactly. And that was her, not me, guys. Just be clear. She was not quoting me. She was quoting herself there. Yeah, absolutely true story.
It was me imitating the angry lesbian chasing me down the hall.
She clarifies and takes away from the impact of the action.
It was funny though.
I thought I was just that effeminate. She thought I was an angry lesbian. She had only known me 3 years before she tried this pickup line. Another true story. Well, pickup line.
True.
Probably the wrong turn of phrase for pickup line. It's more like shit you say at 1 a.m. when the boss is sitting with you. Okay.
Pound me too.
Okay. This is why we're going to hell, and our subscriptions are going up. Don't forget, guys, you can subscribe using Twitch Prime for free, no cost to you. And it supports us, gets us out there, and the more subscribers and supporters we have, invite your friends, click share just below the screen. Twitch recommends us to other people, and we get more people in here, and we grow. There we go. Gary says, a buck wild Sivart. Indeed. Indeed. That is what I am known by in many circles. Yes, it's quite common, dude. I do have a vest at work where somebody else decided they were going to print out the name to put on the back, and they put freaking Travis. I'll have to look up Buck Wild. Well, it depends.
We've got a girl at work who's only just over 5 foot tall, and when she keys into the till or she rings up any transaction for the customers, her till designation is the midget.
Oh.
That's great. She gets amazing tips out of it because people go, "Oh, is that what your colleagues call you?" "Oh, look, here's a couple of quid for you." You know, nasty people, which is great because all our tips are communal.
She stood there with a cup, going, "Please, sir, may I have another?"
Actually, it's more like that scene from Family Guy. If you guys remember the one where Meg's left looking after Stewie and she pretends he's a crack baby.
No, I didn't see that one.
That's amazing, yeah. Oh yes, I'm absolutely cuckoo for crack, me.
Wow. See, now you sound a lot like Stewie when you do that. It's like you have the same accent or something. It's crazy. Uh, hello, Win. How are you? And Gary, good to see you. Glad everybody stopped in. I did take all my bits earlier and go to Toei's channel and threw them at the Purple Heart. So she got all the bits that I had and the extra 10% because, yeah, somebody might as well benefit from this shit, right? So she got, I think it was about $8.50 total out of it. So, there's a kitty. Okay, so tooting your own horn. Ed, are you prone to bragging or telling people about your accomplishments or penis, whatever? Oh, thank you, Tracy.
My penis, yes. My accomplishments, it just gets me in trouble. Thank you, Spacey Tracy, for the
Tracy,
bits.
thank you.
But see, I'm having to change gears here because we said tooting your own horn, and I thought we were going to be talking about masturbation. So.
I really think we can go both ways. If that is your... I did
If you
have
can
somebody...
go both ways, surely it's easier to toot your own horn.
That's what she said.
Well, you're less likely to have to toot your own horn because you'll have at least, you know... I did have somebody last week ask me at work what my sexual identity is. Now, my first thought is I don't identify via sex. It's not something that's part of my identity. It's just any more than I identify by my shoe brand. I have it, but I don't give a damn. But anyhow, I wrote back to him, short answer, straight. Complicated answer, I went into the asexual, demisexual, and they haven't spoken to me since.
Cool.
I mean, besides if I go up and directly speak to them. By the way, Toei says Bond. James Bond.
James Bond.
I found an article today where they said, and bear with me, don't freak out yet, the new 007 is a black woman.
Yeah.
I saw it too.
Now, I almost freaked out because I'm like, wait, what? I don't mind, but but Bond is male. James Bond has always been male. But I read further into the article, and James Bond is still James Bond. He has retired as no longer 007. He's in Jamaica. And when M says, come in, 007, in walks a black woman. I'm like, oh, no, that I'm okay with. It'd be kind of like making Indiana Jones or Han Solo. Well, they're now an Asian midget. No, they're not. Stop that. I'm all go cosplay whoever you want, but as for the character, there's some characters that are it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
On the other hand, I don't give a damn if Little Mermaid is black. That's fine.
My favourite meme about that, and there have been hundreds, clearly, is the one I posted you guys in Discord the other day, which says just drop acid before you go to the cinema and you can be any fucking colour you want.
Yeah.
True story. Same for people on the bus. So, Ed, you were talking about bragging about your penis.
What's the topic again?
Tooting your own horn.
Actually, tooting my own horn is something I get in trouble about in the professional world because I get told constantly that I don't give myself enough credit.
So, why is it important to give yourself credit at all?
If you're trying to get a promotion, get a better job,
how about just not get shit on?
Well, yeah, right.
Well, no, I'm talking about those people that will throw you under the bus because you have never touted your greatness. Mm-hmm. So somebody else fucking steps on your head and shoves you down using your accomplishments to boost themselves. So you got to be careful. If you don't toot your own horn, some asshole might take credit.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kev.
I've had that in the past with if you come up with an idea or a plan that's executed by other people as well as yourself, but you're the brain behind it, or it was your original seed of the idea, if you like, and you don't make an effort to make it clear to the powers that be above you, that was my idea. I have had that where other people who've then been involved in the execution of the idea have accepted wrongly from my superiors more than their share of credit for the end result.
And it might just be a matter of them just not saying anything when the bosses mistakenly. You were about to say something there, Ed.
Yeah, because I've gone through a little bit of that in the past. I'm going through a little bit right now. Recently, the question of me working for my wife has become an issue, and it's just because of one asshole that's got a problem with me. But
That's all it takes. One asshole to spread the shit.
yeah, that's all it really takes. But I've gone through that to the past, and I kind of really got pissed off with his latest issue because I've put more time in on his site during holidays than he has. But the other factor there was it's like my integrity is being questioned, and I'm one of those people because I work for my wife. Okay, she will never give me a promotion. She will never put me in for a reward or an award or anything like that. So it's like, shut the fuck up, dickhead. I'm here to do the work for the company, okay, not recognition.
So are you going to hit him with your cane?
You goddamn right I am.
Because anybody who wasn't here last week, Victoria, if you're still here, keep note that Ed broke his leg in 2 places, fighting a horrible, terrible beast. And Victoria does chime in right now saying if you don't promote yourself, who else will, especially for free, and she knows as a fellow writer.
Yeah.
Now, Elizabeth, I saw your lips in a tight, straight line, which always means you're biting back something. I'd love to hear what that was.
I was thinking about the beast, and I was thinking, well, he was more like fleeing, and then he almost succeeded, but he did fail, but not completely. He didn't roll a 1; he rolled like a 5.
No, that'd be a 1. You leap off something and break your leg.
Rolled a 1.
That's a 1.
He was running away.
He just had made his con save and ran a quarter mile afterwards.
Well, and I was first to say Ed is a badass for surviving that situation and getting out of there. And I think of him, I thought of you this morning, Ed, not in the shower, be nice.
Well, not just in the shower, she means.
Well, I was watering with this 200-foot hose. And it is black, okay? But anytime I have to go up and down these stone walls, and I stop myself from jumping because I always think of Ed, like, if I just land wrong, I don't have health insurance. So I just take it easy. Take it easy. So you inspire me, Ed. You inspire me.
Well, I do have to add on that, not to get way off topic already, but it's one of the things I've been doing since I have so much time. I've been rewatching the Marvel movies so I can perfect my superhero landing next time.
Oh, there you go. Well, I was thinking.
I thought you were going to say so you could kick Rocket's ass, but
I was thinking of you, like, how would you get off the loading dock, right, without breaking a leg? And, hindsight now, but I was thinking like a slide and then kind of a slide off and fall down. But,
Just
tuck and roll.
You didn't get bit.
I didn't get bit.
just remember, Ed, if you're perfecting your superhero landing, pick the right superhero. But I saw a short video clip the other day that said every superhero needs that perfect landing, and it was about 15 or 16 superhero landings from different movies, and the Hulk's in the middle was one where he just falls from the sky. So yeah, make sure you pick the right superhero.
Yeah, I
and never
posted
forget
that the other day.
all the superheroes.
That's probably where I saw it. Then, yeah.
You also need a stunt person so they can take the landing for you. I would have probably broken both legs, an arm, gotten rabies up and down my back.
What's the height of the loading dock, Ed? About 5 foot.
5 feet,
Yeah.
Yeah, I just stepped down.
Like that thing from Stranger Things. So, Chris, what about you? You work in this theater. You have had to see a bunch of people who are worth talking about, who never bring attention to themselves, and you've had to see the other side where you're like, this person is a piece of shit, and they can't stop bragging.
Oh, absolutely. But I would have to say all of the, best and highest paid actors in town are definitely the ones who don't are the most humble about it. With the exception of the musical theater community, because them bitches are just
Divas.
yes, all of them.
That's interesting that the best would be most humble, but apparently somebody is doing the marketing, the personal marketing for them, because
Absolutely.
there's a reason.
Their agent is the one,
Okay.
out there making sure that they're getting to the right auditions for the best roles in town.
Very good. Very good. So now we are going to go into This Week in History in about 10 minutes, so I'm going to try to stretch out what we have here. And then we'll go back to, how do you promote yourself without being an asshole after This Week in History. I figure that's a reasonable part 2 to that. And I do want to say hello to our lurkers. I won't call you out, but I will point out that you are VIPs because you're here every week if you're not already a subscriber. And I do want to, again, thank our subscribers because this is the special kind of thing just for you, including Victoria, because you're still a subscriber, and I'd love to see that little thing by your name. Why the fuck is it posting that thing 15 times? We're not even requesting songs during the show. Ignore the song request thing that Cogsley, apparently had a fucking seizure and posted 4 times. Okay, hold on. I got something here from Jamin. Jamin has sent me a message. It's a tweet or an Instagram. It says, me, Googling, what do I do? Leg bleeding, raccoon bite. Google, elevate and apply pressure. Me, lifting raccoon real high. Apologize or else. There's some bits for Jamin there from Ed. Thank you, Ed.
Thanks, Jamin.
That's fucking good. That's good. Should I just... I'll forward that over to you, Ed, so you can show that to other people and share it on Facebook, okay?
Alrighty.
And Jamin and Jewel are the... I appreciate that, Victoria. Thank you, and I'm
Thank
so
you,
glad to see
Victoria.
that subscriber thing by your name. Because you're actually one of the people I was like, oh no, she's not a subscriber. I know she's been busy, but when she does come back around, I definitely want her in the room hanging out with Kevin and Ed.
Yeah.
It's and I'm sure Kevin and Ed feel the same way. Rawr.
I'll hang with her.
Yeah, you will.
Who are we hanging with? I'm down for anyway.
Victoria.
Oh, hell yeah.
Absolutely.
I can't guarantee I'll be hanging.
Well, you know what? I don't think you're in any shape to be standing upright for a little bit longer.
No, this is true, sadly.
So, yeah, you might want to... Okay, Ed. Incoming... It's a fucking hilarious that Jamin just had that, and I'm guessing laying around or had seen it recently enough that he, Yeah. Good stuff there. Okay, so...
Why is Cogsley bot spamming so much?
I don't
Good
know.
Lord.
I can just go deactivate him or remove a... He's lonely.
You
Apparently. He really wants us to play songs during the show.
Yeah, I'm going to just go disable... Oh, God, he did again. Hold on. Look, somebody talk about what we were talking about while I go shut him the hell up.
He's tired of our shit.
He needs some attention.
He's tooting his own horn.
Look what I can do.
Someone pay attention to me. I do good work.
Yes, Cogsley, you're wonderful. Shut the fuck up now.
Tooting your own horn. Yeah, that's really important. Like in screenwriting, you're supposed to do that. Or film, you have to really advertise yourself a lot.
Right.
And I find it difficult. I find it annoying. I not that I'm ashamed of who I am or I don't like who I am, but I find that it's just everyone's talking nonstop with words that are meaningless or not really. We should do more listening right now and less talking.
That would be a good thing.
Yeah,
I think overall,
nature of the business.
Listening is good. But then again, if we're all in the perfect world, we would listen. We would brag about others and not just ourselves. But there's a big difference between the humble group that loves what they do and then the people that got in it for attention. Now, we have 5 minutes till the hour. Does anybody need a break? Okay, you guys head out and come on back. I think Kevin and Ed, we're okay. Ed, do you need a break also?
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. I just had mine.
We saw that. Yeah, the great Cogsley revolution there. I have shut off that. He is still...
One Butlerian jihad, please.
Cogsley is still doing it, and I have shut off that command so he shouldn't be able to use it anymore. Yeah, he's our own, like, lame-ass Terminator that doesn't quit. Okay, song request did not go through. Stream Elements apparently is having an issue tonight. That's who runs the Cogsley bot for me.
He is busy tooting his horn.
The fuck was that? I just saw a flash of light. Oh, I did get some cool stuff in the mail today.
What'd you get?
Well, I ordered a new pair of shoes.
You get a new shirt too?
No, this shirt.
You don't know what you're gonna do?
No, it's I'm sorry. I saw Cogsley posted it 3 more times after I shut it off for the 3rd time. So no, I got a new pair of shoes, which are pretty simple. They're from Shoes for Cruise.
Sorry.
Jesus Christ. Cogsley, you've got issues, bitch. And no, I own my last pair for 3 years, including working in multiple restaurants and other jobs. They're waterproof, like I have stepped into a puddle, and as long as it doesn't go over the top, no water in my shoe. They're slip resistant. Yeah, I'm just very pleased with them. And I found out they came... Here's Kevin. It's you know what? I could do that. Let's put him in a timeout. We're gonna time out my own bot. There we go. Thank you, Win. By the way, Win, you are a moderator. You are welcome to time out the bot if need be, and deleted 43 messages, which 37 of them were that one message. What else did I get in the mail?
Victoria says, Viagra, if you have an erection for more than 4 hours, call up your best friend and brag about it.
Well,
Victoria, if I've got an erection for more than 4 hours at the moment, I'm able to call anyone, I'll be dead.
That's very true. Really? Okay, I guess since he's a moderator, Win, I have to time out the moderators. It's so tempting to just, like, time one of you guys out now, but I won't do it. I will restrain myself. Like I would if I had an erection for 4 hours. To bring it full circle.
You have to restrain yourself, just pace yourself.
Man, see, throughout my life there's been times where I have had erections for a length of time without any medical help. And yeah, if relief is not applied at a reasonable amount of... Was that you, Chris? Did you do that one? You might be muted. We're going to come up with a Jess Foxworthy routine just for you. You might be muted.
Yeah, that's what you need, a little icon that's just Elizabeth pointing and laughing.
When we get, I think it's 25 subs, we get a new icon. So I think the maximum amount of icons we can have is like 20 or 25. And yeah, as we grow, I totally plan to have an icon of each of you. Even if it's not Ed's face, just something like shit happened, y'all. Or what's up. Yeah, and Elizabeth pointing and laughing might be okay, because that would be pretty good. And I feel like she could draw the icons, but I could be wrong. Let's do some opening music for This Week in History and get started with that. By the way, any more sound issues with me?
No.
Okay.
It's all been good.
I had the music playing in the background so everybody can hear it because I had created that playlist that I mentioned, and I suspect that might have been the issue. Oh, we can turn that.
I gotcha.
This week in history.
My chair squeaks. Hey, Ed! What happened this week in history?
Shit happened, y'all. I missed one a week or two ago, and I want to bring that one up now. 37 years ago, Tron, the original Tron, was released in theaters.
It is such...
Groundbreaking at the time, wasn't it?
It was.
Absolutely.
And now you're like, oh my god, there's one person with a synthesizer. This is... What was I saying? It's
It's true. I rewatched the original just after I watched the new Tron movie a couple of years back or whatever, and it's one of those movies that really hasn't aged well.
No, it hasn't. But it was a great concept and well executed for the era it was made in. But it does not hold up to the standard. And as for Tron Part 3, well, it's probably best that they didn't bother to make it. Well, they were going to, as well as a Lone Ranger Part 2 and a John Carter Part 2. But basically, Disney went...
With a John Carter part.
Can't hear you, Chris. You're not muted, but your mic is...
There you go.
I'd be okay with a John Carter part 2.
I like John Carter, and
I
tell you
thoroughly
what,
enjoyed the movie for as much crap as people give it as like a bad.
it's not bad. It's not.
No, it's really not.
Yeah.
It's
I think you're right. I think we've talked about this
We have.
before. The pacing is slightly off.
It is.
Right.
But it's not a bad movie at all.
No, not at all.
John Carter.
Ah, cool movie.
And I tell you what, if anybody ever makes a goddamn another Tarzan or Lone Ranger movie, we do not need the fucking origin story ever again. Ever. Stop. Ever. Same with Batman. Shut up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like with all the Tarzan books that Burroughs wrote, why do we keep seeing the origin story over and over and over again?
Or Lone Ranger, it went on for how many years as these 20-minute movies before another movie started, and we can't come up with an original fucking script for it? By the way, Wynn says that she liked it too. John Carter. Yeah, John Carter wasn't a bad movie. As I mentioned,
Yeah.
if you go grab a beat sheet and map it out, the pacing is off. But that doesn't make it a bad movie. It just makes it doesn't hit the points when we unconsciously expect him to hit.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it just in my room, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't see why it was so horrible, and then I realized, oh, you have to think, because the way he approached time travel and the way he outsmarted and the gravity, it's a little bit of a thinker, and
Little bit.
sometimes people don't like that.
But not much.
No, it was fun. How he could jump and the aliens. It was fun.
I don't
It's
think
great.
that was any more complicated than Back to the Future Part 1 or 2. I think Part 1 they explained the timeline divergent thing, which people were like, oh my god, that is so wow. And I'm like, have you never read a fucking comic book ever? I mean, at like 14, I'm like, this is basic sci-fi physics. Why is this amazing at all?
Well, let me respond with I finally saw John Wick,
Uh-huh.
and with Keanu Reeves.
I swallow.
and,
Welcome. Sorry,
yeah.
go ahead, Elizabeth.
Okay. It's a hollow guy movie, and I enjoyed it, especially considering how Keanu really trained and did all the shooting and guns. I was very big fan of that.
Great choreography.
Is it a complicated, thought-provoking story? No.
No. It has two lines
It's
of
really-
plot and the rest
It's
is
just like
action.
a music video of a guy killing a whole lot of people. Okay.
Very true. Very true.
True.
So, I liked it. I'll probably watch it again. The little dog, break your heart. But there's not, and that's what I mean by John Carter was a thinker. People like cheeseburgers.
Comparatively, yeah. It's it could be.
Hey, I just wrote a cheeseburger, but it's a few layers there.
It's as I pointed out with this other movie on Netflix, that kids movie, Camp at the End of Nowhere, or whatever it was. You can have a Sherlock Holmes. Well, Tracy, you're out of here. You have a great
Good
night.
night,
Thanks for
Tracy.
coming and hanging
Night,
out.
Tracy.
Thanks for the bits and the subscribe. And thanks for being beautiful all around. So,
Yeah.
that's all there is to
Yeah, you are. You're beautiful.
That's right, you are. It's look at that community. You got to put the 50 right beside the bleed purple. I think there's no space. Is that correct, guys? When cheering without typing, you just put it all
No
together.
space.
Yeah, no space between the number and the word.
No space.
Do
No
it again!
space.
Do it again!
No space for you.
No space.
I want that 55
Space.
cents! Anyhow, I'm just excited that we're getting back to where we were, guys. I am so happy to see all these cybernetic faces every week of everybody coming in to hang out. That's fucking great. Thank you, Tracy. Have a great night. Say hey to Mike and the husband. Two separate people. Not the same. Not the same, right? Totally not. They're different, right? Okay, good night. Ed, what else happened this week in history?
Oh, where was that? 11 years ago, Hellboy 2, The Golden Army.
I thought you said Cowboy
I
2,
like that
the
one
Golden
better
Army.
than the first one, personally.
I didn't.
Interesting.
I tell you
There
what,
you go. Let's cut that down.
if they came
I
out...
liked them both.
if
No,
they-
I liked the first one too. I mean, I think I liked the steampunkiness better, and there didn't have to be as much exposition. I think is what I
Right.
liked about the second one better. You just got into the story.
No origin
Yeah.
story. I tell you what, here's what they need to do from now on with any of these heroes. Give us a fucking story. And then when the DVD releases, give us an 8-minute short that's the origin story. Just do it that way for me from now on, people. I don't need another Spider-Man intro. I don't need another Batman, Superman. Captain.
You know, they
the-
did that. They did that in John Wick. They only whispered of the origins of him. So you got these whispers and before it all happened.
And that's all
and
you
it
needed.
worked. So
Yeah. Which, by
yeah.
the way, right here in front of me, I have a quote from John Wick. It says, focus. The next line says commitment. And the third line says pure will. Because in the first one, they refer to him, this man, this is how he does it. Focus, commitment, pure will. And that's how you accomplish anything.
And the bad guy tells his son attributes which you do not have to his son.
Right. By the way, John says at the end of the movie, tell people to go to your local comic shop. That's not a bad fucking idea either. Please feel
Yeah, it's
free
true.
to expand your horizons by reading and looking at visual art.
Yeah. Comics have great story.
God
Great
damn it.
story.
Cogsley is back with the same old shit. Cogsley has been...
Does this mean now that he's back, he'll let me give everyone points?
He's back. Better
you-
than ever. Dun, dun,
You know, I
dun.
think you're giving it to it anyway. He's just not saying it out loud. So I think your point distribution is working, Chris.
Sure.
But Cogsley isn't telling anybody because he's been put in the corner.
He's been put in the timeout corner.
Has been. So anybody that gets butt hurt if I fucking time you out, I time my own bots and moderators, okay? If you're misbehaving, you're misbehaving.
I've actually screen capped that whole splurge from him earlier because one of the Facebook groups I'm into is a Dune-related fan group, which is called Siege Posting. And there's a thing in there where people constantly post, it's a very obscure Dune reference, but there's a thing called the Butlerian Jihad, which is in the history of Dune, which is like Dune's version of the rise of the machines versus humanity, which is pre-Dune. Anyway, people will post memes all the time with examples of robots malfunctioning or doing things they shouldn't be doing with the phrase "one Butlerian Jihad," please.
Okay, do me a
So
do me a favor, Kevin. If you're gonna post this, make sure you have in there.
tag us.
Well, no, just make sure you have in there, like, and I can type it out right now so you can screenshot it and then copy, paste it, cut it out, put it over one of his lines where it's Travis Tavern Talk going, oh my god, my bot is attacking my own channel. This way, people in that picture you take see the channel name.
Mm-hmm.
You need me to type that out?
Yeah, no, it's cool. I can do that.
Okay, I'm doing it. Oh my god, my mod bot is attacking my own Twitch channel. 3 exclamations. Okay, here he goes. You ready? I'm going to put it up there. There you go. Now you can screen cap that.
Capping.
And just
Got it.
cut it and paste it in. Okay. So let's see. That whole John Wick thing was all from Tron. I think it all branched off of Tron. That was our second thing in This Week in History.
19 years ago, the X-Men was released in theaters.
Really?
Like the first one?
The first one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Up to
Good
that
times.
point, one of the best superhero movies out. I really think it measured up well with the first Michael Keaton Batman.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Have a good night, John. Drive
Later,
home safe,
John.
man. And John
Good night, John.
also
Hey, John.
fucking dislocated his knee this past weekend.
Ow.
Yeah.
Running from a raccoon?
I now feel bad because I have no idea how he did it. I think it just happened. I don't know. So what were we talking about?
X-Men.
X-Men.
Yeah.
Has anybody seen the new one yet? Dark Phoenix?
No.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't suck.
Yeah. I hope all the reviews I've read are wrong then.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet, in fairness, so I can't form my own judgment on it. But
No, I can't say anything either way. But
Did you see anything in the trailer where you thought, oh, I gotta go see that?
well, I really
not
What's her
massively.
face is all that good actress, so
I don't think so either. But she's better than the old Jean Grey, in my opinion. But yeah, I've been very disappointed in their casting of both Jean Greys. Yeah.
I don't know whether it's just me. The kind of impression I got from the trailer for it was, here's all the amazing flashy scenes from the movie
Yep.
in the trailer, and it's going to be one of those where you go and everything else is relatively mundane background plot, and you've already seen half the best bits of the movie in the trailer, albeit not entirety.
Well, I tell you what, X-Men First Class was a great movie, I thought. It was a lot of story. I enjoyed it. The one after that I can't even remember, to be honest with you. Was it Apocalypse? Was the third one in the new movies, right?
I don't know.
I guess so, yeah.
What was
yes, I
between
think so.
Apocalypse and First Class?
I thought what they started doing with Quicksilver, I
Right,
think that's his name, showing his power from his point of view
right.
was the reason why I go to movies and why I enjoy adventures and superheroes. I want a different point of view. I want
Right.
to experience a different reality. And when you're showing this super fast person and how everything's so slow for him, we need so much more of that. So much more of that. And maybe, like you were saying, a little less backstory.
Yeah.
Go find them filming the bloopers and things from that whole slow-mo sequence. It's amazing.
Okay.
Because they were trying to do most of it in a single shot, which they ended up not being able to do because everyone just kept laughing or things didn't pull right. It's a good watch if you can find it.
Here's a couple things from Toei. Trailer must have been forgettable because I only remember her standing around looking bitchy, which, by the way, in my opinion, she looks like a 19-year-old bitch instead of a late 20s bitch that she should have been when she was Dark Phoenix. Toei also says, I think the best X-Men were the two in the first Deadpool movie. Is that when he we couldn't even afford a cameo and they slid the door, or was that in part 2? Kevin says, and new X-Men film was Days of Future Past, which
That was, yes.
the one.
That was typo. It's supposed to say the second newer X-Men.
Okay. That was the one. I really enjoyed all the scenes in the past, but anything in the future was this CG blur of
Bullshit.
I don't even know what the fuck just happened. There was just too much going on in that one shot, which I don't mind. Guardians of the Galaxy has done it right, where you have this huge, or Avengers Endgame, or whatever the one before that was, Avengers Infinity War. You would have these huge, expansive shots of 30 or 40 characters all doing things at once. But it was a short shot, enough to make you realize there's this expansive, huge thing going on. I felt like every action scene in the future, in Days of Future Past, was that shot. And it lost something, because you didn't know what character was what. Unless if you were a hardcore X-Men fan. And I was in the 80s, and then in the 90s less, and after that, don't give a damn. So I'm like, I don't even know who half these people are.
Yeah. I'm with you.
I agree with you. I think they relied too heavily on people knowing about the X-Men timeline, and didn't explain to you why they were all there, you know, why they were all, you know, on the verge of death, which if you, as you know, if you're an X-Men fan, you know about a lot of the different timelines and stuff that they've done involving those where a lot of them, if not all of them, get wiped out. I'm just wondering
how come they didn't have, like, Cannonball and Wolvesbane, but they put in Geronimo? What's the Indian guy's name? A Native American Indian. He was in it. And he had a cool power, and I get that. But I'm like, there's more recognizable, not primary X-Men. They could have put... Now, if they didn't want to show Cable because they didn't want to cast an actor, then show him from behind. Show the silver arm and a big gun and the crew cut. You're going to go, that's Cable. And why the hell wasn't there a cameo from Deadpool? You know, in just one of the massive scenes in the corner, there's Deadpool.
I still like that. Was it the last week or the week before where I said I'd read it somewhere that because of the merger, people were saying it would have been amazing if he'd just come in during an end credits scene after Endgame, and yeah, where the fight's all over and Deadpool turns up late to the battlefield. It's like, guys, I'm here. Sorry, that fucking merger took forever. Ah, shit, I missed it.
That would have been good. It's by the way, I have seen Ralph Wrecks the Internet, and the scene with the little girl and the Disney princesses is fucking incredible.
Yes, I think that's my favorite scene in the movie.
Yeah, I barely remember the rest of the movie. I remember it, but nah. That scene, though, is just, it steals the whole movie, and it's worth watching the movie for that scene. And if you don't want to do that, then go YouTube that shit. Find it. Because it's definitely worth seeing that 10 minutes where she's interacting with princesses. It's, Okay, Ed, what else you got?
Actually, oh, wait a minute, hold on. 16 years ago, and I couldn't believe this, I had to look it up and verified it. But 16 years ago, Knights of the Old Republic first came out as a game.
Wow.
Yeah, it didn't seem like that long ago.
You ever played it, Ed?
No.
Makes me feel old. I've got it on my phone now, which is great anytime that I get, like, bored.
Wait, what?
And it doesn't require the internet, so, like, if I'm bored somewhere and don't have 4G on my phone...
So what kind of
Knights
game
of the
is
Old
it
Republic,
on the phone? Wait,
Yeah.
Knights of the Old Republic, not Star Wars The Old Republic.
Knights of the Old Republic, yeah.
Okay.
Knights of the Old Republic.
Okay.
The first one. Way back.
I never played it. I don't even know what it's like. Is it like a Mortal Kombat type thing?
No, it's... I mean, it's just an RPG.
Back when they only took 750 meg instead of 125 gig.
I've just recently experienced the joy of this, where my friend has lent me a PlayStation 4, which was fine because he lent it to me with a couple of games, both of which were obviously already on there because he plays them himself. And then someone found out I had it, and they went, "Oh hey, you're a massive Skyrim fan, aren't you? I'll lend you Elder Scrolls." I was like, "Great, this is going to be fantastic." So I put the goddamn disc in, and it installed the game, and it went, "Oh, I've just got to install this update." It's going to take 20 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? 20 fucking hours? Okay,
Yep.
don't get me wrong. It doesn't seem that bad to me as a man who grew up using the ZX Spectrum, where it would take you 30 minutes to load a cassette game, you know. But
That's true. With 12 different discs or whatever.
yeah, you know,
Yeah. Or in
please
the
turn
middle of
tape
your
over
game,
and
you
press
suddenly have
play
to...
on side B.
Yeah, you'd have to change floppy disks in the middle as you switch to a different region of Ultima 7 or whatever it was. Yeah. Yeah. And you're like, oh my god, where's disc 5? I have 1 through 7, but no 5. You hear that gah, gah, gah of the hard drive going. Good times. Good times. Okay, Ed, what else you got?
Okay, got a few dead people. One that I missed on July 2nd. The
Apparently
assistant
you didn't miss him
creator.
that much.
Yeah, well, the assistant creator of the Ford Mustang, Lee Iacocca, passed away at the age
I
of
remember
94.
I remember him dying. He lived long enough. I think he was good to go at that point.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, he was one of those mixed rich guys where you're like, well, he did great things, but he's rich. Asshole. He pulled a multi-billion-dollar company out of the crapper in the 80s. Jerk. Yeah, you just don't know how to feel about him. I think respectful is a reasonable thing, no matter
Oh,
if
absolutely.
you liked him or not, because I think you have to, at the end of the day, go, really, well done.
Yeah, no
You might
shit.
be a total douchebag. I don't know, but good job. Hell of an accomplishment. Let's see what my resume have. Not that.
Moving on.
The only thing I have besides that is how many of other people.
All right, July 9th, former presidential candidate and businessman Ross Perot passed away at the age of 89.
Do you think the two of them were partying together, maybe did a line of coke together, and fucking had like mutual heart attacks? Do you think anybody ever, like Ross Perot, I can see Ross Perot making a drink called, this is the Iacocca. It's got rum and coconut and some lemonade. Drink this shit. And Iacocca being blitzed off his ass, just playing with Perot's ears. Flappity, 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 flappity. Why Ross Perot was the only guy I've ever seen that looks like an albino chimp.
Yeah.
And by the way, good for him in the 90s publicly announcing his lesbian daughter's wedding and dropping out of the presidential race for it. And then coming back in at the last moment, which would have been a great business move, horrible political move. Good talk. Let's move on.
July 9th. Rip Torn, us geeks probably know him as Zed from Men in Black, passed away at the age of 88.
Yeah.
Does anybody remember his really annoying comedy from the 80s?
No.
I might be thinking of somebody else, but I swear it was Rip Torn. Anyhow. Because, you know what, I'm going to look him up on IMDb and see what else he did that we might know. Cause, yeah,
He did the dodgeball movie.
Mm-hmm.
He was the coach in the wheelchair. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
That's true, he was in that.
Did a bunch of stuff on 30 Rock.
Yeah. Great voice. Just great.
Yeah, very, very rough voice, wasn't he? Who the fuck? And this is not who I'm thinking. I'm trying to remember who I was thinking of then.
Nope, not him.
Yeah, I want to see this guy, and then I'm thinking it was like on the Gong Show and shit. And he was a bit flamboyant. Like, you know, he was 80s gay before people admitted to being gay. I don't know who I'm thinking of. Probably about 10, 15 years older than Rip Torn, anyway. Rip Taylor. Is that a guy?
Who?
Hold on. Rip. Oh, hold on. I got Taylor. Damn it, Travis. Really? My keyboard, I think I need to change the batteries. Yep, Rip Taylor's who I'm thinking of. King of Confetti on IMDb. He apparently was on DuckTales the movie. He was in Wayne's World 2, Brady Bunch, Variety Hour. Dukes of Hazzard movie. He was in Scooby-Doo and the Monster of Mexico. We all remember that pretty well, right?
Oh, yeah.
He
Totally.
was Mr. Wacky Pants in What's New, Scooby-Doo.
I enjoyed the theme from What's New Scooby-Doo because they had simple plans seeing this very ska punk rock Scooby-Doo opening.
You guys will know him from possibly two things. First of all, Addams Family 1990s TV series. He played Uncle Fester.
Oh.
Wow, really? He was in Santa Barbara? Storks, Popeye and Son, The Charmings, The Jetsons in 85. The Comedy Shop. Yeah, he was on the Gong Show movie. There was a Gong Show movie?
Oh.
He was in The Happy Hooker Goes to Washington. Ed, you'll remember him from that. Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. Okay, never mind. We'll move on.
All right, only one more. Avengers Endgame is 7.1 million away from catching Avatar is the movie with the biggest box office gross,
I
which
think this
is 2.787 billion. So,
okay. A few comments from the Tavern here. Gary says, yep, threw confetti everywhere. Also had a handlebar mustache. Victoria says, yes, he 1.98 beauty contest, and he gave winners a bouquet of carrots. Okay, see, they remember him. Now, as for what you just said, did anybody not think Avengers Endgame would eventually overtake Avatar? I mean, in this modern day and age and
I
economy...
still haven't seen it.
Not once they pulled that cynical move of re-releasing it with like a few minutes of cutting room floor footage
6
stuck
minutes.
back into it. Yeah.
Well, from what I understand, it's like a yay Stan Lee 6 minutes at the end. It's not even part of the movie.
No.
It's
No,
after
it's
the
all
credits.
it's extra.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's extra bits in the credits and a tribute to Stanley. Yeah.
Right. And that did not make me go see it again, because that'll be on the DVD. We all know it.
it'll be right. It'll be on the release. Yeah.
And, yeah. And it's worth seeing. It's a good movie. Good enough. I'll watch it. Again.
It was better than the ending of Game of Thrones.
Although The Longest Night, that was really good. That was really fun. I know, let's keep everyone safe. We'll put them in the tombs. You're dealing with zombies. Hello. That was fabulous.
Chris, for the record, clearly I don't advocate any form of piracy taking rightful money away from the people who work incredibly hard in the entertainment industry. That said, I'm going to throw you a link up where you can watch Endgame for free in HD. It's in Skype. It's in Skype now. It's literally the first movie on the homepage.
Okay, now everybody just saw that link because it pops across your photo when you post it.
There you go. Well, everyone else can have it then. There you go.
And, Victoria, I have to agree with you. Avatar was good. It was the most reheated, warmed over plot we've ever seen from any Western, including Dances with Wolves. But it was in a new format, a new lighting, a new shading. Okay. But it was visually beautiful, but it was the plot that we can all pick up. And no, it's a comfort food. It's the meatloaf of movies with a delicious garnish.
It was so boring. It was so boring. And fine, pretty lights, whatever. That was a boring movie. And it was just bad writing and just obnoxiously bad. Avatar. So, of course, it made billions of dollars. Of course. Of course.
Goes without saying.
There was no thinking. That's for damn sure.
Just like the last Avengers, fine, it's okay. I mean, I went, but it took over 2 hours to finally get to the battle scene, and it was nothing. Wasn't even close to the first one with the city and the big monsters and the aliens. That was so much fun and exciting, and they just kind of cranked it because they knew they could. And then it was just, I mean, how do you make Spider-Man fighting boring? Watch the end game. You'll see.
I like that quote that's been publicised quite a bit, where someone commented it and said, why is it every time that actor appears on screen, he looks like he's completely fucking confused about what's going on? And I can't remember his name, but the actor who plays Spider-Man tweeted back and said, because pretty much every time I was on set, I was completely fucking confused about what was going on.
Tom Holland. Yeah, and part of the reason for that is because they filmed parts of both Adventure movies at the same time and the new Spider-Man movie at the same time. So there was times where you didn't even know what fucking movie you were in that you were filming.
And apparently...
Go ahead,
Kevin.
I think you were about to say the same thing I was as well.
There's times when he's delivering lines to no one because he has a problem with running off at the mouth and giving away what's happening. Yeah. So they didn't want people to know.
He got his script day of shooting.
Yeah.
But I'd like to respond to that by saying, okay, remember Braveheart? And remember those battle scenes? And that became an art form of how to take something that was incredibly complicated, all this shit happening, yet every person or character had their own style.
Hey, baby!
Hey, baby!
She gave me a Whopper.
Yeah, I did.
Oh. Anyway, you look to Braveheart if you want to see some amazing battle scenes, and the fact that they're not doing it 20 years later is sloppy and lazy.
I can't watch
lazy.
It's painful.
What?
History at all, it's very painful to watch Braveheart.
Not as painful as if you were actually Scottish. There's a brilliant line in one of Frankie Boyle's stand-up routines where he says, back when Braveheart was produced, everyone mocked Mel Gibson, saying he'll never be able to accurately portray a Scottish person, and look at him now, an alcoholic racist.
Okay, do we want to... Are we done, or do we want a half hour to actually discuss the topic, or we can go on with this?
Are we done?
That's all I had.
I have a celebrity death I'd like to mention. It's not often I put any of these in.
Has it happened yet?
I'll mention. It has happened 6 days ago, so I'm fairly certain he's not likely to come back either. I mentioned earlier one of the groups I'm in on Facebook, which is where I first saw the news. I'm a huge fan of Dune, Frank Herbert's Dune. And Freddie Jones died 6 weeks ago. So for anyone who's ever seen Dune, he plays the Mentat, Hugh Ferry in that. He was also in 2 or 3 different David Lynch movies. He was in The Elephant Man and a couple of others. He passed away this week at age 91.
Wow.
Credits from earlier in his career include, just maybe find the page now, Hammer horror films Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed and The Satanic Rites of Dracula, Federico Fellini's And the Ship Sails On, Krull he was in, Barry Levinson's Young Sherlock Holmes. He's also a soap actor in Emmerdale, which is a soap opera here set in the Yorkshire Dales in Britain for quite a few years, so he was quite well known from that. Yeah, so he passed away 6 days ago.
Very good. Let me pour a drink. We could drink to him. By the way, everybody we've mentioned that has died, that we mentioned this episode, they really did a good job. They all made it pretty far along. It's not like that 2 months in a row we had where like everybody that died was 69 years old. Yeah. And besides, like Alan Rickman was in that lineup of deaths a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So here's to the dead. Maybe they never rise again. Under the table. Sorry, Andrew asked me a question.
Who's under the table?
The bread. Okay, so when it comes to tooting your own horn, as I mentioned in the beginning when I brought up the topic, it's important to be able to market yourself, to brand yourself, to sell yourself without sounding like an annoying braggart. So
here's the Rip Torn.
There we go. Here's the Rip Torn. Speaking of an annoying braggart, and oh no, not Rip Torn. Sorry, Rip Taylor was annoying. It's I remember when I saw Rip Torn in Men in Black, I went, "Wow, Rip Taylor is not nearly as annoying as I remember." True story. Yeah, we'll drink to the drinkers. So, how do you go about marketing yourself, branding yourself, bragging about yourself within your comfort zone?
Wow.
Now, the only answer I have, and I'll put it out here right in the front, Victoria says, of all those pop/rock stars that died around age 50, Prince, Whitney, well, they've got extra bonus reasons they died at that age. They have reasons that the rest of us can't afford. I'll just say, the only way that I know to answer this question is kick yourself in the ass and open your damn mouth. But does anybody else have a better way?
This is kind of like, we talked about something last week on the show and Andrea said she can't, and it's like it's learned behavior, and when it comes to me, this is learned behavior. I can't do it. I can write. If I can get you to read my resume, I can write, but I can't sit and talk about myself.
Why not? What kind of
Don't
look?
know.
She's fading into the hedge like Homer. Do you want to pull up a chair? Tell people how to brag about themselves.
Come back. We love you.
Ed, I'm curious. How much of that do you think is down to the moral values we grew up with?
I
Speak
think
when
a lot of it
when you're spoken to. Don't be a braggart. Don't be arrogant. Yeah.
But when you do, well, for me, people are like, "Oh, you're conceited." No,
I've had
confident.
Yeah.
Fucker.
And I have seen that before also, where you state a fucking fact. I have done this, and people are like, "You're bragging." No, that's a goddamn fact. That is not bragging. Yeah. Black and white. There is no bragging in that. So,
way of getting around that goes to getting other people to do it for you. Like other people who are better, well, maybe better or more eloquent at speaking than you are. Hire an agent, hire a PR person, someone who is willing to...
I ain't got no damn money.
I'm black. I can't afford that.
Fine.
Wait a minute. You're black. You got a whole fucking organization set up to do that shit.
No, you can pay in other ways.
That's right. With your 200-foot garden hose, apparently.
She's not paying attention.
What the fuck?
I'm marketing myself. I am. I'm sitting here tweeting.
Chris, really, go ahead. Though. Finish what you were saying.
A lot of, at least my industry, is really all about the people that you know. So it's, talk to this person who do they know that you can then, you don't even have to brag about yourself. Just be like, oh yeah, hey, I know a guy who does this thing. You do this thing. You two, here. You know?
Yes.
All right. I think a big part of it is, okay, I mean, I understand, my first major forays out of high school, were in the martial arts and Zen and Buddhism. And things would say, like, the flower doesn't congratulate itself for blooming, so you're kind of taught to be humble. And I think even religiously, or even it's considered a moral good thing to be humble. Pride is one of the 7 deadly sins. Now, another topic for another day. But
My sin's
I
sloth,
think,
so.
well, I'm gluttony. That's my favorite sin. Okay, so I think a very large part about marketing yourself is to have passion, and to have passion in what you do, and to be able to express that to someone, because that is all about communicating. That is about establishing a relationship there with that other person, and establishing interest in who you are. And I think that is better than trying to say, I'm tooting my own horn. Why not have some passion and interest in who you are? I think that is the angle to take.
A few things from the chat here. Victoria chiming in with earlier, a few minutes ago. I'm not bossy, I'm the boss, from Beyonce. And then she also says you have to network your ass off and call in those favors. Let me tell you guys, networking, social networking is social branding, social marketing. When you go to a place to network, I think it confuses a lot of us creative people because it sounds very technical and businesslike. But you're actually marketing yourself is what you're doing. You're not there to find the people you can help. You're there to find the people that want to know about you. Gary says the only time I felt it was necessary to write about my accomplishments counteracts someone trying to belittle me, usually a peon. Yeah. That's called a follow-up report on the complaint that was given to your boss. Which, speaking which, Jamin sent me another picture. It's of a conversation. Banker. So you'd like to learn? So you'd like a loan to start a all marsupial fighting championship? Me. Yes, it's called Mortal Wombat. Banker. Dot
Take
dot
my
dot. Me. Dot dot dot. Banker. I'm in. Mortal Wombat. Dun 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 dun. Yeah. Shut up, Jamin. What the fuck is wrong with you? Shit ain't funny. But yeah, it's a lot of times when you end up touting your accomplishments is in defense of what somebody else says. And I think some of us need to learn to be able to do that preemptively. Superman doesn't brag about his shit.
Why are you sending that? Sorry.
We don't know. We don't know why this.
Work.
It's true. He's got a. As Andrea just pointed out, Superman does have a marketing scheme. He has an agent. Her name is Lois Lane. Andrea, do you want a picture of this?
Oh, I'm playing Harry Potter, sorry.
Oh, is that what you're doing? Is there something here on Harry Potter? We live in the middle of nowhere. There's never anything out here. What are you doing?
Hey, Andrea.
Use the port key.
I can't see you. I can't see anything, so I can only hear.
Well,
Is
she's
she there?
not in the room.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, she hears you. She's answering
right
you.
there. She's right there.
Did you get anything in the mail?
I did.
Ah.
I showed you.
Yes. Do you want to talk about it?
I got a letter from this person.
Yeah, she did.
See, this is something I try to do in the show while she's getting that. There's a reason when I have people like Elizabeth or John on, I try to tout what
It's
they
really
do.
cool picture.
There we go. We're going to just hold this up.
It's adventures
For two.
in this state.
So there we go. We got that for you guys. And by the way, for you guys.
And there's like a little cat seal stamp thing.
Stain?
There's a cat.
Stamp. Stamp.
But yeah, it's part of what we do here. Is I try to support, and Chris is confused sometimes. Why bother to tell everybody I do lighting and sound in a theater? It doesn't matter. No, it does. It does matter. Well, Ed, with there's nothing to tell about me. No, there is something to tell about you. You have certain skills and interests and levels of competence that are worth mentioning. You know what? You might not be able to fucking talk about yourself, but you can
talk about those on air.
You know what? They've been on film. They might as well be on air. And Kevin, never mind. Let's just move on. No, I'm kidding. Kevin, with his knowledge of cooking as well as his sense of humor and having co-authored a book with myself, there is something we all have that's worth bragging about. Elizabeth, I mentioned you first in case you don't remember. I mentioned you before I mentioned any of them with the, your movie writing, your movie making, your awesome beauty, your incredible thing. Does this cover what you paid me? Is that
All right.
Let me go on,
All
please.
right.
I'm not done yet. I was just looking for some sort of acknowledgement that, yeah, you got it, we're good. Because really, 20 cents is 20 cents. And
if you're telling the truth, it's not bragging.
no, it's not.
And I like to, and I've said this before, I think it's important what we put out there. And I like hearing about everyone's exploits, good, bad, or indifferent, because you know what? I don't work in a theater, and I don't run a bar or a restaurant or run from rabid raccoons.
I love a good story, and I love telling a good story, but when it comes to my exploits professionally or whatever, whatever. I've been a mission-oriented person for so long. You mentioned martial arts earlier. I was involved in martial arts at the age of 11 years old through high school, and you don't brag. I joined the military, and that was something my commanders used to say about me in the military. Summers, if you need him to lead, he'll lead. If you need him to follow, he'll follow. Whatever it takes to get the mission done. And that's the way I've been most of my life. Whatever it takes to get the mission done. I don't care about the other bullshit.
Victoria says, I highly recommend, quote, talent farming, end quote. My contacts are filled with all kinds of people. You never know who you'll need when, or on the nice side, you can give someone a good reference. Ed, going back to what you were just saying right there, and hold on, I've got to get back to what the beginning of what you were saying there.
Don't ask me.
At the beginning of the show, I asked you guys what went on in the past week. I do this for two reasons. A, to burn time so we can get all the viewers in. That's the bottom line groundwork reason. But it also shows we all do have a good story. Now, the third reason I do it is to remind everybody there is something good that happens to you. You just sometimes don't remember something good that happened to you for the most part, every day. But definitely, at least once a week, you have something that happened in your life that was good or interesting or funny or ridiculous, something positive that you can share, even if the end result is negative, such as Ed breaking his leg, or Kevin and his heart attack. There is still, it might still fucking be funny, or it might be a good story that helps other people with other things. There is value in each of us that is worth me going, what happened this week to you guys? What you guys deal with? What made you sit up and notice and remember what went on this week? And your stories, your value, helps the world around you. Whether we have 2 people or 2,000 people watching this show, your guys' stories, your week, helps them and each other.
Here's to all 2 of you.
There we go. It's I am staring at the Whopper Andrea brought home for me, trying not to eat it on air.
Oh, go ahead.
No, it's only a few more minutes.
It's manja.
We're almost
Hey guys, if you want me to send you your own little version of the letter, make sure you send me your mailing address.
Once we're
And
off
done
air.
it before. Please post it again for me, so I can
Yeah.
Discord. So
Yeah.
I can send you your own special version.
Special Russia.
Special version.
Knock, I'm not.
But I'm being totally annoying with myself.
Yeah, no,
Can't stop that voice.
Not once you start. Not once you start.
I'm so tired. Is summer over yet? Is summer?
Why? What happens at the end of the summer?
I feel better. I feel better. It's this heat.
Hold on, we had a thing. Luis.
Got a thing?
Fun fact, sharks were here before the trees.
Cool.
Yeah, I guess so, but possibly not before the shrubbery.
Oh, I
But
like
thanks
the
for joining.
kitty.
Thanks for joining us there, Luis. Appreciate it. Glad to see your face, man. 3017, is that the year you're from? Is that time travel? We interrupted Elizabeth. What were you saying, Elizabeth?
Nothing.
No, really. I wanted to greet the new person, but honestly turn the whole show over to them immediately. We like them to show up for at least 3-4 weeks in a row before we let them have the whole show. Really? Okay. So the topic that we're about to wrap up here in the next couple minutes is tooting your own horn and why it's important to do so. Because so many of us, there seems to be a small percentage that won't shut the fuck up about themselves, even to the point of exaggeration or lying. Andrea knows some of those from the other room. And the vast majority of people never bother to brag, tout their adventures, etc. And this is something that Talk of the Tavern has really tried to bring out in people constantly, supporting the community, supporting each other, supporting our viewers, to let people know everything is awesome. Everybody's got a little bit of awesome, if not a lot of awesome, and they just don't put their awesome in your face.
Well,
Because
if you
everyone is awesome, yeah.
What are you saying, Ed?
it depends on whether they have their mouth open or not. Then I'll stick my awesome right in their face.
Then it will be literally in their face. In their face.
I suppose in a set, it's the only good thing sometimes about not blowing your own trumpet is that you then have the ability when someone's running their mouth off and everyone's sick of their shit to just quietly go, did you know that I'd done X, Y, and Z? And just completely cut them down.
There is that. There is that.
Not that I'm suggesting that that should be my primary motivation for not blowing your own trumpet. Definitely, I agree with you that it's something that more people should do and take more pride, even in small accomplishments. You know, it is an accomplishment. You know, it has value, but there's something to be said for working alongside somebody who has no idea that your previous accomplishments are far better than theirs. But they're the kind of person who's inclined to run their fucking mouth about it all the time. And eventually you let them get away with this for so long and then just bury them.
Victoria says, I always tack on a thanks to whoever listens, shares, votes, supports, etc. I'm really grateful to you folks who are on here. Go ahead, Ed.
Victoria, being someone that's been a long time member of the show, I'd like to say, get mushy. I'm really grateful she's on here because she always participates in everything. It helps the show go better. So thank you for being here tonight. Really missed you, darling.
Yeah, it's she's been very busy with an art show of her own and other things with her mannequin. I've been following her adventures on Instagram as she designed this mannequin that was in a contest and apparently drove it around town, had ice cream, pimped it out to poor drunks on the road, whatever it took to really market herself and her art and her creativity. And Victoria, what was it the other day? You just posted the other day something that you were in the finalists of something.
I mentioned it at the top of the show. She was listed as one of St. Louis' A-list
Tempe!
of creative people. Good night.
Sorry to interrupt a Victoria thing, but good night, Tempe. Thank you for popping in. Didn't even know you were here. The goddamn list does not update well. And Cogsley Bot has gone angry.
Exterminate.
Please, Kevin, repeat what you were saying and complete your thoughts, sir.
Well, correct me if I get anything wrong here, Victoria, but as I understand it, you guys pronounce it St. Louis, not St. Louis,
correct.
which is how I pronounce
St.
it.
Louis.
St. Louis has something called an A-list, which is their list of the most prominent or notable people in a whole bunch of different creative fields. And for her work as an author, Victoria made the A-list. So.
Wow.
Very awesome. Very awesome. Now let's come up with a closing toast. Now I can pull something up, but I love using this quote thing, so I'll see if the quote applies. If it doesn't, I'll just make some shit up. Won second place on St. Louis's magazine's A-list and the author. Well done. Well done. Now here's something that can apply to any creative person. It's the story and characters that matter. Anyone can read the rules. Only special people can bring the dream of a world to life in another's imagination. That goes for movies, art, writing, or any other form of creativity. And that quote is directly attributed to, I said that shit. I had one friend that read my quotes, and they're like, isn't it kind of arrogant to quote yourself? And I'm like, meh. Maybe.
At least if you quote yourself, you know you're getting the quote right.
I like to say right at the end here, I sometimes enjoy tooting other people's horns.
Yes.
Steady.
Well,
Steady.
yes.
Don't we all?
And I was recently at a surprise birthday party, and I knew people there, and I'd worked Rotary with some people, and I'd met a really interesting gentleman who had quite a history. And I made sure to introduce him to one of my Rotarian friends who was actually an all-American football player back in like 1940s, 50s. And he got so excited to meet him, and it was just a really neat moment. And I just stepped away and let these two go at it, and it was really neat. So it's fun to toot others' horns too.
I think I speak for all of us here, including Andrea in the other room, where we enjoy tooting other people's horns more than our own. We love supporting these creative people that we admire for one reason or another, whether they're accomplished or it's their first effort. We want to give that little extra oomph, that little extra push to help them go, oh, I want to do another thing. I want to do the next thing. Andrea's especially good at that. She is always supporting Elizabeth. At least a couple times a week I hear the story of her handing out another Pickle Man sticker to kids and then talking to the parents about it. I have decided, by the way, speaking of tooting my own horn, I was at Amazon. They give you eSwag. It's basically fake money that you can buy Amazon-related products to. Not anything on Amazon.com. Just like, I have an Amazon t-shirt. I have an Amazon hat. I have Amazon crap. Well, they used to have gift cards where for 100 eSwag you can get a $50 gift card, but they don't have them anymore. And I went, well, fuck. I have no use for any of this crap. I don't want to walk around advertising Amazon, let alone anybody else. Okay? But I went, you know what? Let me get these Amazon shirts and then get an iron-on thing and put the Talk of the Tavern logo and twitch.tv/Travis Tavern Talk on the back of every goddamn Amazon shirt I got. But when I went to turn the money in, the fake money, to get these shirts, she went, oh, yeah, the gift card's coming back. We're getting more in. And I'm like, wait. Cancel all those t-shirts. Instead, I'll get the iron-on patches and put it on all the, like this shirt that I'm wearing, the goofy, silly shirts that I'm wearing anyway, and put it on the back of these. And that way I'm what is that noise? Cogsley, is that you, you
It's the
motherfucker?
Cogsley bot.
I think it's time to play the outro. You guys have a great week. Make sure you join me during the week for the little teeny things I do every week, like nightcap after work or the writing in the morning before work. We're out of here. Here's to your face. We love seeing it every week. Thanks for joining us.
Good night, all. I'm off
Good night,
to toot my
everyone.
own horn.
Tonight, one thing that makes the show
It's
what
Elizabeth.
it is. Don't forget
Was
to
it?
join us at the tavern next week.
That's a hell of a
Until then,
queef. Wow.
Have fun.
See a doctor.
learn, Be good to one another. Now, raise
It's
your
like a
glass and
card
good
in the
cheer.
bike
Enjoy the
post. Are you
small
riding a
moments
bike?
every day.
Oh, there's Cogsley. He had to get the last word in before we left. God damn it, Cogsley. One final thing. Fucking bot. You're grounded, mister. Kevin's caught right as we slip out.